Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their new books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works as well. That's really going to make up this entire new Star Wars universe by George, John, and Dave Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, it is, of course, the end of March now, and we are getting very close to the full-length trailer of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, which, by the way, is all sitting ready to debut by early May of this year. That's going to be a big deal. There's a lot of fans thinking that it's going to debut on May the 4th. Well, meanwhile, that is very possible. There's no word on a May 4th release for the full trailer, other than the fact that it will be in early May. Now, on top of all of this, what's even all the more exciting is exactly what Disney CEO Bob Chapek has planned for George, John, and Dave with the new Star Wars movies, TV shows, books, novels, and comics, as well as video games, and how it's all going to work together to create this big, expansive EU. Now, when you look at everything related to what they are doing with the roadmap of the franchise, of how that is going to be partially announced at this year's celebration, and then eventually the other half is going to be announced at next year's celebration. That's going to fulfill the entire decade of the 2020s, and that's going to be a big deal for Star Wars fans, because that goes to show you exactly which TV shows are coming out when, and exactly which TV shows released before or after other TV shows out there. However, when it all dwindles down to, of course, actor Keanu Reeves, we talked about the new trilogy for a number of months now. It is moving well into the early development phase and going closer and closer to pre-production. Now, on top of all of this, what's even all the more exciting is that with Bob Chapek currently developing the new Star Wars roadmap for the Star Wars fandom, both John and Dave are beginning to work on The Mandalorian Season 4 and the Ahsoka Tano TV series, as they recently wrapped filming on the 3rd season of Mando. However, it's noted that with the new Star Wars trilogy set to feature actor Keanu Reeves, he recently was involved in an interview where he was questioned about joining the Star Wars universe when approached about John Wick 4 and other projects out there. Now, Keanu Reeves went on to state, "It's funny that you ask that question, because Disney has been begging me to come on board of the Marvel films for months now, and I know that is a franchise that holds so much value to millions of fans. As for Star Wars, look, I really am not at liberty to say yes or no if I am in the talks with a new series or a movie or whatever for that franchise. But I will tell you that I love those films, I love those projects, I think they have a special place in this world." Keanu was then pushed and pressed to answer the question again when they questioned if he is involved with a new Star Wars movie. Keanu stated, "Wow, people seem to love the idea of me in Star Wars, I guess, haha. What I can say is that Disney has been contacting me regularly to join all of their franchises. Whether or not I agreed or disagreed to those offers is something I really can't get into right now, but I respect you doing your job asking these questions." Now, additionally, separate from all of this, given that Keanu dodged the question twice, Reeves is set to join the Star Wars universe as King Valar of the Sith royal family in the Star Wars trilogy of movies that will be labeled as the 4th Star Wars trilogy. Now, let me just pause right here for a second before we get to the next thing that's very important, is that everything related to Keanu Reeves, alright? We have seen the big failure of the 4th Matrix film. And we also know that Keanu Reeves has been very upset over the fact of how that movie didn't really succeed at all at the box office, nor did it get great feedback. There's been a lot of problems with, the 4th Matrix movie and how it kind of made a dent in Keanu Reeves' acting career. Now, it didn't really make anything, too big of a dent in his acting career. It just kind of broke him a little bit. Now, given that Keanu Reeves is so loved with the John Wick franchise, we have John Wick chapters 4 and 5 in the works. Chapter 4 got delayed until next year, unfortunately. So there's a lot of things happening for Keanu Reeves, and Marvel, and Star Wars being open for him right now is a big deal. Now, he is involved with the new Star Wars trilogy. He's not going to openly admit that or, officially just say that out loud. But he has been approached also about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and those movies and how Disney is really trying to get him on board of the MCU. They want to have him involved with both Star Wars and Marvel at the same exact time because they know that he is a beloved actor and a lot of fans actually do love seeing him in these massive movies. You know, we got John Wick, we've got, you know, The Matrix 4 out there, we've got a lot of other projects that he's being involved with. But on top of all of this, alright, everything related to the fourth trilogy, we talked about this before, is that it is planned and labeled as the darkest Star Wars trilogy or set of movies in existence so far that Lucasfilm is actually really excited to begin work on by next year. Whether it's going to be quarter 1, 2, 3, or 4, we're not quite sure when they're going to begin work on it, but it is going to begin filming at some point in time at the very end of 2023, and the scripts are already being prepared for the fourth Star Wars trilogy. Now, on top of all of this, alright, this is described to be a big new direction for the franchise. Keanu Reeves is set to begin work on the new movies sometime in next year, and is even set to star in Marvel, of course, in a Marvel project that he is in the talks with over at Disney as well. Now, Reeves is set to be very excited to go into this new direction and in the talks over at Disney past his John Wick films and approach big name franchises to expand his role as an actor. Now, though Keanu Reeves won't admit this publicly, his role as King Valar is already planned to be revealed and teased by early next year, with tons of new artwork by Disney that will be released officially announcing the character to debut in new books and comics first that will go over a new era that takes place in between the events of the Old Republic and the High Republic. Lucasfilm is planning to make Reeves' Sith character the most intimidating Sith Lord yet to the fans and will essentially be the Thanos of Star Wars, becoming even more powerful than Palpatine and/or Darth Plagueis, just as an example. Disney is trying to shoot for new goals to create bigger and more powerful foes in the Star Wars world for our heroes to face. Keanu's involvement in the new movies are actually set to be announced at next year's Star Wars Celebration for the Star Wars fandom to enjoy and get excited about. Now, let me just pause right here for 1 second before I move on to the next thing, is that Keanu Reeves, I gotta say, he's probably one of the most humble actors out there in Hollywood, and I think it's one reason as to why a lot of people that follow his work look up to him. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't really embrace himself in Hollywood lifestyle. This is not a guy that really believes in that way of life, you know. He's kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio, where he kind of stays out of the spotlight, he kind of stays away from that Hollywood sphere, and I respect it, I do. I really do respect that, because he acts like a normal, everyday Joe, and I think that's exactly why fans connect to this guy so very much, because they see that. You know, they realize that he's approachable like that. And he actually does, you know, integrate with all of that. So when you look at everything related to Keanu Reeves, that's why he's got a lot of support, is that he's very relatable as a regular person, and a lot of people connect with that. And I think that we have to see more, you know, icons like that in Hollywood. We don't really have too many people like that. And I think, you know, the fact that that's beginning to become a more common trend of actors expressing themselves more accurately, that's a good thing as well. So overall, guys, you know, I think that Keanu Reeves, obviously, very afraid to say anything, but let me know what you guys think about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.